Oh, shit. Drew, I'm going to do that a lot, by the way.
It's a tradition.
I always forget when I start the stream, I have to turn the music off. I have to add myself and any guests, unmute, take the banner down that's saying starting soon.
It's a lot of multitasking. It's a lot of multitasking.
I know. It's a lot. And unfortunately, the only picture I have, the stock photo I have saved in here is of Randy. That probably needs to change.
Yeah, you got to mix up the mojo. Maybe it'll get him going. Let's change it to Rosario or Pepiot or somebody else right now.
So, okay. First, real quick, let's say hello to the viewers. I see we got 23 in here on Twitch. Nice and fat. There's no way it says we must have a lot of people on Twitter here watching. How we doing? Randy just needs the All-Star Dick. Brock D, what's good? Brock D is everywhere we are. Love that. Ryan, what's up? Handyman, Curtis Mead needs the sun. Dude, Russell, I'm so sick of Curtis Mead. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Pepe at Cy Young, maybe. No sports, don't worry. 2 middle-aged men slurping the Rays. I don't know if slurping is the right way to describe it.
No.
DJ and good sir, you did not seem confident with my Rays money line in the early stream. No, I was not. Javon's in here. Bang. Just say Tyler Anderson sucks. Yanks free tomorrow and call the stream.
Hey, Tyler Alexander, he pitched well his last time out.
Okay, fair enough. By the way, developing, I think I'm going to go to the Yankees-Rays game tomorrow night with POD Pete. Our viewers know who that is. He's a Yankees fan, but spur of the moment, we're setting it up. Drew, bang, what's up, Fat Girls? What's up, Rashawn 7G and Raging Rays podcast? Yeah, Drew, in the morning in the board review, I was asking about some names for this. We got the Rays Glaze, do you know what glazing means, by the way? I love that you don't. We're such boomers.
I know like the Urban Dictionary version, I think.
Are you 36 or 37?
37.
Okay. Yeah, I'm 36, but I told the stream, I said your average middle-aged man or my age, like 38-year-old, is not going to know what glaze means. But glaze means like when you're slurping something or you're like talking positively about something.
Okay. I was thinking something dirtier.
No. Yeah, no. Yeah, you're the king. I introduced, remember the dolphin?
Let's not get into it.
Okay, no. But I told the stream what that was. You were the father of the Blumpkin. And that was a good time. Anyways, we'll talk Rays. I know that's what the people want. That's what the people will get. The Rays Glaze is a great name. Yeah, I know. Okay. 2-2 for a 4-game series with the Angels. Drew, I know you said that series was a grind after it was over. I was exhausted.
Is it exhausting series? I am so glad we are not playing the Angels again the rest of the season. I mean, I don't know whether it's to give the Angels credit or just the Rays are playing like shit, but I mean, they played 7 games so far this young season, and 5 of the 7 games came down to the wire. 5 of the 7 games really could have gone either way. A lucky break, a lucky here or there. So we're lucky to get a split. Let's be honest. I mean, we're very, very lucky to get a split. We probably should have lost 3 out of 4.
3 of the 4 in Tampa were decided by 1 run.
And the one that wasn't decided by 1 run was when they, blew the game in the 8th inning. I think they were actually winning, right? They were winning 2-1 when we gave up the 2-run bomb to Trout, and then they broke it open after that on Monday.
I have it open right now.
Mike Trout owns the Rays. Like his average at the Trop is over 400.
We were winning 1-0 going into the 8th inning, and then
then we gave the 2-run bomb to Trout, and then all hell broke loose after
that. Maton or Maton, by the way?
I believe it's Maton.
Maton's stats: one beautiful inning pitched, 1 complete inning, 5 hits, 5 earned runs.
Okay, but I mean, we can get through. We'll go game by game. But he's had a nice bounce back. I think. I think he pitched every single game in this series, and outside of that blow up on Monday, he showed something with bouncing back. And honestly, too, that blow up on Monday, I almost put more on Cash because there was a passed ball. Because there was a runner on first. I think Rondon was on first. And then there was a pass ball, and he went to second base. So first base was open. You have Mike Trout up, the hottest fucking hitter on the planet. He owns the Rays. Why did they pitch to him?
I don't know.
I texted you saying, do not pitch to Trout. And then 2 minutes later, he hit a home run.
That was a great call on that. I mean, the in-game managing, there's some things that are so obvious, and it drives me insane because it's funny. You fast forward 3 games later today, I was saying, please walk Trout. And maybe I was a little biased because I had Pepe out over 1.5 walks and he was at 1. And then I saw Mike Trout struck out on a foul.
Well, what inning was that though?
Well, it was early. Yeah,
I know you're not gonna walk him that early. You're not gonna do that.
Trout is the bigger owner of the Rays since Teoscar, I should say. I'm so sick and tired of Mike Trout. Let's talk about the Angels for a second. What are you about
feisty? They're very, very feisty. There's no doubt. This is a new Angels team under Ron Washington. He's not taking any bullshit. He's calling his players out. He actually did something in what game was it? Oh, it was in game one. He did something really cool in game 1 after Matt Moore gave up a 2-run bomb. Which I can't think of the last time I saw a manager do this. So, typically when a relief pitcher, something bad happens, the pitching coach comes out and talks to him, right? The only time the manager ever comes out is if the guy's going to get pulled, right? After Matt Moore gave up that 2-run home run to Harold Ramirez to cut the lead to 5-3, like while Harold was still rounding the bases, Ron Washington just zoomed out on the field. And he essentially just got in Matt Moore's face and gave him a pep talk and slapped him on the ass really hard. And then Matt Moore got 2 outs after that. So I thought that was pretty cool just because you rarely see a manager do that. It's always typically pitching coach come out, talk strategy. The only time you see the manager really come out generally is if they're going to make a change. So I thought that was pretty cool that he did that.
Yeah, I agree. I got to say, I mean, from following the Angels this season, I've bet on them probably more times than I ever expected to. Twice, I think, in the Miami series, but I for whatever reason like Patrick Sandoval, so I was kind of following him early in the year because I'm ready to decide, am I just wrong about this guy? We have some players in baseball and all sports where like you think they're good, but they're not. He's on there, so I was following him. I am invested in Mike Trout and Brandon Drury. I like Drury. I have him over RBIs. I have Trout.
He's not off to a great start, Drury.
No, he's not. He's off to a very bad start, actually. But I have Trout, home run leader, and MVP. So it was kind of a nice little hedge there for how he was dominating the Rays. Don't get me wrong, though, I wasn't enjoying it. But here's a guy right here in our following. Detmer's Day, the Angels will never lose. So Drury train is over, unfortunately. Yeah, I got to give Javon credit. He was the one who put me on to Drury on the Reds, and I was a fan even when he went to the Padres. But what I wanted to get at is the Angels are scrappy. The Angels have a scrappy lineup, and the most impressive thing for me by far is this guy Taylor Ward.
Well, yeah, is he still leading MLB and RBIs? I know.
RBIs? He's in the 20s.
Yeah, I think going into yesterday, I heard he was leading MLB and RBI. So, he's either right there or just a few behind.
This fucking guy, every time I look up, was doing something. I couldn't believe it. I was very impressed by him. Even that limp dick Anthony Rendon was getting little fucking bloop singles here and there.
Well, honestly, I mean, ever since he started the season 0 for 18 or something like that, ever since then, he's actually been pretty good. And their catcher is pretty damn good as well.
Just their catcher.
I don't remember the guy's name, to be completely honest with you, but they probably had multiple guys catch throughout the 4 games, but their catching compared to the Rays catching was night and day. I mean, the Angels ran all over on us this series. I don't know if we stopped a steal attempt once in the series, so there's a lot to be desired from our catching position. We cannot throw anybody out. You can steal on us at will.
Yep. Guardians tied for best record in baseball, easiest schedule of all time, says Shammy. The Guardians are kind of a pain in the ass. We don't have to worry about them later. But I honestly, for going 2-2, as you have stated, we want to get through April and be 500. We're doing okay so far in that department. But this, like you said, we probably should have lost.
None of these games were fun. They were all grinds. Even when we won, I didn't enjoy it. They were all excruciating games to watch.
So, I guess the bright side of things coming out of this series is
starting pitching.
Well, I was going to say, let's talk about the lineup first. Rosario is putting on the big boy pants.
Well, so we got like that part of the lineup where it's been going Paredes, Rosario, Harold Ramirez, Cabby. Those are the strengths right now. Those 4 guys or so, you got to pencil them in the lineup every single day. They're the ones who are having the best at bats. Yandy's getting closer. He's still not quite there yet, but you could tell he's on his way to getting back to Yandy. I'm not expecting Yandy to hit 330 like he did last year, but hopefully getting his average back up into the 200s. I heard something crazy about Yandy Diaz, which I didn't know. Last season, he didn't go a month batting below 300. Not that his overall average never went below 300. Every single month, just for that month average, every single month he was above 300. That's like near impossible to do. And another crazy Yandy stat I heard: first player since 50 plus years to win the batting title, and he didn't steal a single base.
Are you sure he didn't steal one base?
No, that's what I heard, that he didn't steal a single base last season.
So funny Javon just mentioned this. I was literally about to ask you before he said this. I was looking at today's box score because I wanted to pull up Rosario because he was 2 for 4 with an RBI, and I looked at every name below him, and not one person got a fucking hit.
Well, the bottom of the lineup has been carrying us though until today, because the top lineup has been beyond horrendous. I mean, just until Yandy's kind of snapped out of it a little bit, those first 3 hitters of Yandy and then sometimes Palacios and then Randy, the first 3, it's just like an immediate 0 for 3. Just bad vibes to start immediately.
Yeah. I mean, by far the most reliable will have been Caballero and Rosario. Had a great
the 2 off-season pickups. Two unheralded, untalked about pickups. If you remember in game 1 too, we're not going to keep talking about this game, but if you remember in game 1, that was the game where we had bases loaded and 0 outs and the top of the lineup up. You can't ask for a better situation. And we got 1 run out of it. And I texted you, we're going to lose the game. You don't deserve to win. So honestly, when we blew the game in the 8th inning, I really wasn't mad at all, because it's like, well, you don't deserve to win. I mean, if you have your top of the lineup up, no outs, bases loaded, you get 1 run, you should lose.
The unfortunate, so there's some bad. Well, there's a lot of bad, but there's some things.
Well, you're just talking lineup still?
Just lineup. I don't want to get to the starting pitching yet. I want to talk about the lineup for a second. So we talked about the good, the bad.
Okay, so not the awful. The bad is Curtis Mead.
Okay. So there's an awful. Let's say there's an awful.
Because we have an awful section. We got bad, and then we got awful. So Curtis Mead, bad. He got a golden opportunity with Brandon Lau's injury to try to own the second baseman job. At least show something to keep the Rays, something to think about. Okay, maybe we move forward with him as a second baseman. He's showing us absolutely nothing. He's showing us absolutely. Why are we not, telling Junior Caminero to come up and join us for the Yankee series? He has proven absolutely nothing. I don't know if he's gotten any hits lately. If he did happen to get a bloop single, it was very, very forgettable. I know he didn't get a hit today. I don't know if he got a hit the entire series, to be honest with you.
He did. He got a hit in yesterday's game, but he was 1 for 4. And you're right. They're very forgettable, meaningless. There are no RBIs, no anything.
Nothing with power. Nothing. I mean, I'm not seeing any power out of his bat. Nothing.
Well, there's no power. There's zero confidence. And I watched his at-bats pretty closely today because the game was on. I was home at a light day, and I bet on Curtis Mead. I bet on two bets in the Rays game, over walks for Pepe. I will talk about pitching in a second. I did see Fat Girls wanted to talk about Fairbanks, which I'm looking forward to getting into. But I watched his at-bats, and that's always the thing. I've always been a guy in sports. It's like if you're going to lose or not get the stats is one thing, as long as you're competing. So in baseball, I want you to just have competitive at-bats. This motherfucker goes up there and 3 pitches. It wasn't his first at bat. I think it was his second or maybe third attempt. He gets up there, 3 pitches, he's out. And I'm telling you, he's just up there and he's got no confidence. He's not reading the pitcher at all. I think he swung at the first pitch. The first pitch was a sweeper, way low and outside. Okay, maybe it's a little confusing because it looks like it's coming down the middle. Fine. The very next pitch was inside where his fucking wrists are. Swings at it. Nothing. And then I forget what happened in the third pitch that was out. But if I am Curtis Mead or anybody that's struggling at the plate, this is the problem because I've never played baseball before. But here's what I would take: a pitch or two. Wouldn't you take a pitch or two to see what the guy throws and then wait till you get in a desperate situation for your butthole to get tight? He walks up to the plate.
I'm sure he's pressing, though. I'm sure he's pressing. I mean, he knows this is a huge opportunity for him, and he's in a slump, and he's just too desperate to make something happen. So he's definitely pressing.
That's what it is. He's too desperate to make something happen. He's trying too hard.
So he's bad. The catching position's bad.
Pinto.
Pinto's bad right now. Pinto's bad. I mean, this guy. I've already seen enough of Rene Pinto. I mean, besides those 2 home runs he hit, his defense is terrible. His framing's terrible. Is at the plate, he's terrible. The Rays went into the season talking him up, saying, "Oh, this is going to be our catcher for once. We're finally going to have a catcher that we're confident can play 115 games for us. None of this shit of like, okay, we have this guy catch for us for a few, and then we don't know what to do, and we got to go sign some guy out of nowhere." But yeah, we're back to square one. I mean, Benny Biceps, he's nice, but I mean, he's a backup catcher, you know? Right. Somebody was calling our catcher duo. I don't want to steal it. Biceps and beans. And Biceps and beans is a bad combination right now. I think Biceps is a perfect backup catcher. I don't really have too much of issues with him, but he's not somebody we could count on to start every single day. So Pinto's looking bad. We got some guy named Alex Jackson in AAA. Who's playing pretty well. So I'm wondering if they're to give him a chance or not.
Okay. By the way, I didn't know that the Rays traded Christopher Sanchez for Curtis Mead. Did you know that?
I did not know that. No.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that's Phil's is a Phillies fan, as if you can't tell, and Christopher Sanchez.
Well, hey, I mean, listen, Curtis Mead was regarded as a high prospect, and he played very well in AAA. So, like him not playing well right now is not necessarily, it's disappointing. I mean, he was a highly regarded prospect. It wasn't like, just a random
guy. 23. He's only 23.
It's only 23, but what I'm concerned about, though, is remember when Paredes and Rosario were not hitting well to begin the season? I was texting you saying the at-bats are fine. The at-bats are totally fine. I was telling you Rosario's just hitting it directly to defenders. He's hitting the shit out of the ball. And Paredes was working counts like a master. He just wasn't able to, get on base quite yet. Mm-hmm. So we're not seeing any of that. It's just immediately out. So, but enough of Curtis Mead. Let's move on from him.
Okay.
Catching position's bad. Anything else that you just want to throw in the bad category before we get to
Yes. There's one more thing I want to throw into the bad category. By the way, bring us Jose Lobaton back. Rays will never have a catcher. Joe Tots is in here. Joe Tots, good to see you. Fairbanks will get the Manhattan finger to get back. Hold on, Joe Tots. All right. So the one more bad thing. And I know what you're going to say. You're going to stop me in my tracks because he's played I thought he had one day off, but he's played every inning. But Jose Siri's at
they've been bad. I'm not gonna like over the top.
He went from 240 to 200, I think, in his batting average.
Right, and it's probably going to go lower. To be honest with you, it's probably going to go lower.
Center fielder?
We don't have one. We literally don't. I don't know what the Rays would do if he strains something or twists something or gets thrown out of a game. We don't have a backup center fielder until Josh Lowe returns and Johnny LaDuca returns. Those are the only other guys on the roster who can play center field.
All right. Josh Lowe.
Well, the Josh Lowe rehab was supposed to start today, and the fucking game got rained out. The chances of that kind of bullshit is that?
I tell you, this rain is just fucking everything up lately.
No,
and golf and baseball and life. We know Siri was very due to regress a little bit this year. His deep numbers last year were very concerning.
Yeah, the Rays respect his defense too much, though. Like, I'm sure they could put Palacios or somebody in there to fill in center field, but they're just too scared of anybody else to play center field right now, because the Rays cannot afford to give up any unnecessary runs because their offense is so horrible. So it's kind of like a catch-22. So maybe you put a different guy in there and play center field, and he lets like a gapper drop, and then you're fucked because the bats are terrible.
Yeah, I just keep telling myself it's better than Brett Phillips. That's really all I got. Am I holding on to? All right, let's talk about the awful real quick, and then I want to talk about the pitching, and then we'll talk about the Yankee series, and then shut it down. So the awful is Randy. Now, unfortunately. Yes. I didn't want to put my units anywhere near Randy. We had a couple guys that we respect who pretty good baseball bettors were DMing me all fucking day yesterday. Like, oh, it's Randy day. It's Randy day. Look at the numbers. Look at these squares. Look at this. Look at that. Blah, 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 blah. Steak came around and was like, fuck it. Let's go Randy. I said, fine, I'll do it. We put a pretty big bet on him to hit a home run. And it was just absolutely abysmal.
No, nothing fun about it. He's just not. I mean, how could you be having any fun when you're on the streak that he's on? But he's not having any fun out there. He looks miserable. He has no confidence at the plate. His pinch hit attempt today was horrendous. He got two pitches, fouled the ball. No, he swung and missed, and then I think he popped out immediately. And it's just like, dude,
why even put? If you're going to give him the day off, a guy that's slumping like that. I don't even want him in street clothes. I want him out there fucking jet skiing. You know what I mean? Like, I don't even want him there. No pressure. Relieve all stress of having to hit a baseball. Go relax. Take your mind off of it. He is in the funk of funks right now.
Yeah, there's no doubt if they're going to pinch it for somebody. I don't know why he didn't just throw Paredes in that spot to try to drive Yandy out. Because I think Yandy was on first base, and then they put a pinch hitter to try to get an extra run, which we desperately needed. And we weren't able to convert.
I don't know that it's the D-backs big dog bets. I haven't seen anybody on the Giants. I think it's a steep number for the Giants. I think it's a lot of respect. I thought the total was pretty high with what Logan.
And Webb's pitching tonight, so yeah.
Yeah, I went over 8 down to 7.5. I'm fading this team. I'm going over. All right. Any other awful that you'd like to get out there?
Let's talk. We'll just reserve the awful for Randy right now, because Yanni's trending back up. I think he's going to be where he needs to be by the end of the month. So it's really just a reserve for him, and really the catching position's awful. I wouldn't call it bad. I'd call it awful.
Okay, that's very fair. Let's talk about the pitching. Now, when it comes to the pitching, do you want to talk about the good or do you want to get the bad?
Let's start with the good. We've had enough negative.
I'm falling in love with Ryan Pepiot. And
I told you. I took his over today. You didn't. You fucking stuck with Curtis Meade as your bet for some reason.
Hold on. I
told you it was Pepiot over 6. Dude, how pissed would have I been if Pepiot got stuck on 6 again? Because I've bet Pepiot over 6.5 Ks 2 games in a row. Last game I got stuck at 6, and today you got 7. Thank God.
But to be fair, I went into today saying that Pepiot was. Everybody says Pepiot masterclass. I'm not masterclassing anybody on the Rays anymore. But there's a guy.
He's getting close.
I know, but there's a guy on Twitter. His name's Alex Caruso. He's got like 300,000 followers. I don't know how. But he bet on Klay Thompson's over points the other night against the Kings. And Klay, do you know what Klay Thompson did?
It went very badly.
He didn't score a point. He was like over 10.
He's over 10.
Anyways, he's been the talk of the town. He's an ultimate mush. I was going to go Pepiot's outs because of the bullpen being depleted. He was going to have to put the team on his back. I said, get into the mind of an athlete. Pepiot's going to go out there. You know Randy's off. Paredes is off. You have to fucking put the team on your back, dude. And then everybody said, oh, Alex Caruso and DJ collab. That should go well. So I thought he was going to mush him. So then I really thought it through and I went walks because I was like, oh, the Angels are going to have to take pitches. They're going to work the counts, blah, 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 blah. It was kind of stupid, but it hit. Anyways, I was pro Pepiot. The strikeouts scare me, though. I've gotten hooked. You just got hooked on the strikeout props. I've gotten hooked before.
That's probably my favorite thing to take in baseball. That's my favorite prop to take.
It's very fun. You should do strikeout prop parlays if you haven't already. They pay out.
Why it's fun is because a pitcher can pitch like shit and still hit it.
Yes, but you know what sucks is when a pitcher can pitch really well and not.
Yeah. It's kind of a catch-22, but it's kind of fun sometimes to see a pitcher get bombed and still throw 7-8 Ks somehow.
So.
No yawning. No yawning.
No, I know, sorry.
Oh, by the way, one fun nugget on Pepiot is Cash said right before the game, evidently he's sick. He was throwing up before the game. And so he went into the start. He has some type of illness, and Cash said he told him, he's like, we don't have anybody else. You're just have to figure out your pitching tonight.
Well, here's what I got to tell you that I love about Pepiot. Have you seen his traps?
Yeah. He's a well-built young man. Yeah, he's a well-built young man.
He reminds me of like Glasnow, but on Crete.
Yeah. Listen, it was great compensation that we got for Glasnow. Both parties, it was a good trade for both parties, and he looks well on his way to being a hell of a pitcher for us. But listen, he had some hype behind the name a little bit. How about some respect for Zach Littell? I mean, this guy was basically out of Major League Baseball last season when the Rays picked him up. Nobody knew who Zach Littell was. I mean, he was like a mid-relief pitcher that they picked up from the Red Sox for the scrap heaps. And he had a few relief appearances for the Rays last year. That went well. They started extending him, trying to have him pitch instead of just 2 innings, 3 innings, 4 innings, starting games by the end of last season due to all the injuries. And now this season, he's been unbelievable. He hasn't had a bad start yet. Every single one of his starts has been excellent. I think his ERA is still below 2.
Dude, he looks hilarious.
Have you heard him talk?
No. Why?
He has a lisp.
What do you have against lisps, bro?
I don't have anything about. He just doesn't really look like a guy with a lisp, so it's a little surprising.
I have to pull this fucking picture up. This is hilarious. I mean, I've known what he's looked like, but when you Google him, I just think it's funny that this picture comes up. He's got like his gut out. Look at this.
Yeah.
He has 0 suntan and a big red beard. Look at that gut.
You look at him, you're not thinking St. Pete. You're thinking Midwest or something.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's a picture for the Rockies right there.
That's okay though. I mean, baseball players used to look like that. I saw Ozzie Guillen said he was talking about all these baseball injuries. He says back in my day, you can't pull fat. He says after games back in my day, we would drink Budweiser and eat fried chicken, and nobody got hurt. Now everybody just eats clean and doesn't drink or smoke, and everybody's hurt all the time.
That's very interesting. We need more Mo Vaughns out there. Not enough Mo Vaughns. Yeah, although I will say it's very annoying to see like Daniel Vogel bat like 132.
He's just a slob, though. He's a slob. Like, I mean, you just showed an unflattering picture of Littell, and that's still not as bad as Vogelback. Vogelback legit looks like he goes to Golden Corral every night. Dave Wells in the Babe Ruth hat. St. Pete, too bad you got to travel over a bridge to get to the ball. We shut the fuck up about we're not talking about the Rays attendance. Okay, so I'm glad you pointed out Littell because honestly, that kind of went under my radar. Although I saw his ERA and I was like, wow, it's like 1.17 or something crazy right now. So he's pitching very well. How did Eflin do? Eflin did well, right? And gave up no runs. I think it was 6 1/3, 0 runs. That was the game that we were winning 1-0 in the 8th inning when Matan. I wouldn't even necessarily say he blew it, but when the game got out of hand. So yeah, he had his best start of the year, Eflin, and Savali pitched well. Savali was, I think, 6 1/3 and 3 runs. I mean, it goes to show you, follow this team as closely as possible. And coming into the season, my number one concern was the starting pitching. Well, I don't know shit because the starting pitching has been incredible. Everything else has been shit.
Yeah, fair enough. And Posh and Adam pitched pretty well this year.
Yeah, well, I mean, the relief pitching is kind of hard to figure out because I know, they still have the worst ERA and yada, yada, yada. But I feel like it's starting to come around. Obviously, we have some struggles with what Pete just did. But outside of that, they were pretty good the entire series.
So let's talk about Pete Fairbanks. A lot of people in the board review this morning were talking about him, and we're familiar with Pete Fairbanks. Maybe the world isn't as familiar until you go viral for a press conference. I didn't have any issue with anything he said.
No, he owned it. It was much better than that Rockies press conference.
Yeah, I like the honesty. I love that. He's a strange guy. He's just he's got weird mannerisms. He's got crazy eyes. You kind of want
that. You have to be a little crazy to be a baseball closer.
You have to be a little crazy to be really good at anything. Think about it. The artists, you know what I mean? The fucking musicians. You got to be a little out there. You got to be a little odd. So I'm okay with him being a nut job. But here's the problem. And I was talking to this morning with our buddy Kevin, who's a Rays fan as well. My problem is we have a lot of expectations for Pete as being the guy, right? He's been groomed to be the closer now for a couple of years. He needs to be reliable and dependable. And my biggest problem with closers is it's one thing if you're going to blow the game, like you come in, you get 1 out, 2 outs, and then you'll get a base knock and then a double or just a solo shot and tie it. It's another to be walking people. I hate when closers walk people. 7 walks in 7 innings is unfathomable.
Last night was a huge kick in the nuts because listen, if it's the top of the order, I mean, people can shit on him all they want, but Rendon's got talent, Trout's got talent, Ward. I mean, the top of the lineup can be scary, right? He started the bottom of the top of the ninth with the 7, 8, 9 hitters, and he got in trouble that way, and that's just unacceptable. That just can't happen.
Unacceptable. So that's my problem. Is I feel like when Fairbanks comes in, it's okay if he blows it here and there, but now I'm not feeling like the game is in good hands.
Well, how could you? How could you? I mean, he's had 2 blowups. He's had 2 like ugly blowups, so I don't. It's going to be very interesting because Cash had out today just because Pete's pitched so much. Even if he closed last night, I don't think he was going to close today. Even if it went 1, 2, 3, he was due for a day off. He's been pitching pretty frequently, right? And Poche, I don't think had pitched since Tuesday, so I think Poche was going to close the game out today regardless. But what's going to be interesting is if the Rays are in a closing situation tomorrow night or Saturday, is Cash going to go to him or not?
Well, I'll tell you what, it's supposed to be pretty cold the entire weekend. It's going to be chilly, and I know he can't pitch in the cold.
Then I guess you're not going to him. I guess you're not going to him. I've never. Have you ever heard of that before? I've never heard of a pitcher that can't pitch in the cold. I never heard of that. And I doubt it's going to be that cold. It's not going to be like it's like 35 degrees. What is it going to be? 50?
Yeah, it's going to be 50.
Okay, so I mean, especially if it's like during the day, like Saturday, that's not bad. If it's like 55 and sunny, that's not that cold.
Saturday is going to be fine. Maybe he'll go Saturday. He won't go tomorrow. And I don't think Sunday's going to be great. Tomorrow's going to be the chilliest of them all, I think.
Well, forget the weather for a second, though. If you were Cash,
and
let's just say tomorrow somehow with Tyler Alexander, they're winning 3-2 in the bottom of the ninth. Are you going to him or no?
No. I don't think.
So would you go by committee or would you try to single one of these guys out to be your closer?
Well, give me a scenario. Like the Rays are up 3-1 going into the ninth. Who's available? You can't go Posh, right? I always say Posh.
I think you can because because he pitched today, and before then he hadn't pitched since Tuesday, so he can go 2 days in a row. So I think you could go either Poche or
what
Adam.
About
yeah, you could go him. Yeah,
that's who I would go.
He gets out of the craziest situations, Jason Adams. He gets out of the absolute
Adam or Adam? I thought it was Jason Adam.
I think it's Adam, but maybe somebody in the chat can correct us.
Is Baz coming back this decade? I think so.
I don't know, man. I don't know. Shane Baz, he's like this prospect that we never see, but you just hear things about. He's like the boogeyman. I don't know if he really exists. I really don't know if he exists.
Raynaud syndrome, can't grip the ball. Adam has home run problems in Yankee Stadium. I'm good. Okay, then I don't really know who you go to in that situation.
Well, Sean Armstrong's been pitching pretty well. Poche's been pretty solid. Clevenger's been good lately. So I mean, there's options out there. Hopefully, we at least get that opportunity. I mean, I think the contrarian play for tomorrow's game would be taking the Rays. I would imagine the Yankees. What do you think the Yankees are going to be tomorrow? Is that lineup already? If it's not, I would guess Yankees minus 170.
I was going to say, you know what my first lean in this game is the under. You want me to tell you why?
Really? With Tyler Alexander on the mound?
Do you remember game 1 of that Giants series, Drew? Remember what we said?
Yeah, it was supposed to be Tyler Alexander on the round and Wagyu or whatever his name pitched his ass off, and it was an under.
We had Webb in game 2. We had Snell in game 3, and we said the contrarian play would be the under in game 1 when it's the no-name pitchers. Kind of think that's the same in this series as well. It looks like the Yankees are minus 155. The total's at 9, juiced under minus 122.
We started for the Yankees tomorrow?
Schmidt.
Oh, he's been pretty good this year.
Yeah, I like the under. I like the under in this game.
Well, I mean, the Rays probably aren't going to score any runs. So
yeah, exactly.
They'll probably score 2 runs. Yeah.
Rays win 3-1, exact score POD. All right, let's preview this series and then we'll shut it down. This has been our best turnout, by the way, of doing this. So thank you, everybody, for coming in here. Joe Tots, love the new follow. Jaden Heiserman, new follow. If you're on YouTube, Twitter, whatever, thanks for hanging out. We still don't have a name, but we'll figure one out. All right, Drew, Alexander getting clapped. Nah, fuck that shit. Let's preview this series. So tomorrow we've got Alexander against Schmidt, as we talked about. Saturday's a big day. I tweeted about this. I don't know if you saw my tweet. I looked at going to this game with my wife, and I could not believe how much the tickets were. Lower bowl seats were like $310 for a regular season baseball game. That's just too much money. That's
I mean, they're honoring John Sterling. He's been like the radio broadcaster for 30 plus years. He's like a legend in New York. So I'm sure that's
and Judge bobblehead day, which is a big deal. People love their bobbleheads.
And the Yankees are playing well. I mean, they're playing great. So I'm sure there's a lot of enthusiasm. And you said Saturday's going to be a nice day too, right?
It should be a nice day. I actually didn't realize this was a day game until I looked today. But anyways, Eflin's going against Cortez. That'll be a fun pitching matchup. And then Savale.
Rays should win that game. Rays should win that game. They really should win Saturday.
Yeah, the Rays should win this game. I think you're gonna be surprised with what I say. And then we got Savale going against Gill, who I think has been pretty good. I think the Rays win this series 2-1.
I say we're gonna lose the series 2-1. That's my prediction. I think we win Saturday, lose Friday, Sunday. That's my prediction. Hope I'm wrong.
Yeah. I mean, sound like kind of a bitch.
I mean, I'm just not seeing where the offense is going to be produced in this series. The Yankees pitching has been lights out this season. Who are you confident in going into this series that's going to produce runs for us? I mean, okay, great. Rosario's going to get a hit here and there. Maybe Cabby gets a hit here and there. We have nobody who's driving in runs, though. I mean, when it comes to the top of the order, unless Yandy starts figuring out, maybe going on the road, Randy will start getting some confidence. I don't know. Until somebody displays like a reliable power bat outside of Paredes, how can you be that confident?
So
biceps revenge tears. I like it.
First, that's very funny, Javon. First of all, I'm not that confident. I said I think we win the series 2-1. I'm not guaranteeing it.
I think going on the road will be good for Randy, though.
I think it's going to be huge for Randy. Also, here's the thing. Sorry, hold on one second. Where's the schedule? So this is what the Yankees have done. The Yankees went home and they played 5 games against Toronto and Miami. They won. They had 6 games. They went 4-2, and they scored a lot of runs. They scored 9, 8, 7. That's pretty much it. But they went against Bowden Francis, Kevin Gausman, who I believe they have a pretty good.
They've been lining him up.
They've been lining up Gausman. They have these guys' numbers. Bowden Francis is a joke. But then against Ryan Weathers, they scored 2 runs. Puck, they scored 3 runs. That was a grinder. Oh, you actually had the Marlins in that game against Weathers. Right. And against, I don't even know who the fuck it was. They got shut out in game 1 of the series against Toronto. I think, excuse me, I think the Yankees bats are capable of being sleepy early in the season at home. Sleepy. A lot of hype, a lot of expectations, a lot of nerves in Yankee Stadium. On the road, very loose. Different story. But I think the Yankees are going to come back down to earth a little bit. And I like that they got shook in Toronto. Lost that series. Toronto took it to them. I know they're riding.
They ended the series well, though. They ended the series very well. I was watching them come back in the 9th inning. It was pretty impressive. All their bats string together.
Very impressive. They do have that dog in them. It's going to be a good team and a tough team all year. But you know what I like? They have the day off. So,
you like that they have the day off?
Yes, because they're not riding that high into another game. They rode that high into the bar. That's what they did. They went out. They had themselves a good old time.
I don't think Aaron Judge goes out.
Really? Is he not that kind of guy?
I don't know. What does the chat think? Aaron Judge strikes me as the type of guy who plays board games.
Interesting. Interesting. Okay. I guess
do you think Aaron Judge parties? I don't.
Well, I didn't think fucking Daniel Jones parties, but apparently he's out playing flip cup with Eli Manning every night in fucking Hoboken. So who knows? Sam Darnold didn't strike me as a partier. He got mono for making out with 300 women at once. You never know with these guys. But maybe you're right. All I'm saying is I like that they had a night off, a reset, and now the Rays come in there. You know what I think the Rays are going to do? I think they're going to punch him in the mouth. They're
going to punch him in the mouth. Oh, my God. You.
I'm just confident in the pitching. It's going to be an under nobody sees coming in game 1, just like the Giants series. And then we got Dog Eflin and Savale, who I don't know what his track record is against the Yankees, but this is a new and improved Savale.
One thing that's pretty cool that I heard about going into this Yankee series is Richie Palacios is from New York City, and he's never played in Yankee Stadium, so he's really looking forward to that. So hopefully they'll start him tomorrow. We'll get some good vibes going there. Someone in the chat asked who's better, Springs or Drew Rasmussen. I would say Springs, just because Drew's coming back from 3 arm surgeries now. I don't think he's going to start anymore.
Dude, Javon, by the way, I don't know if you know Javon. He's with
he's a race fan. Yes.
Diehard race fan. Yeah. Big race fan. Young guy. I think he's been on Palacios this entire season, which is
I mean, we should have lost that game in extras if he didn't have that hit, that double he got with 2 outs and whatever it was, the 13th inning.
Springs hasn't pitched since '99, so it's Raz. Drew's arm is a noodle right now. Palacios was the guy, right? Oh yeah, Vsauce. Yes, Palacios was the guy.
Springs will be back sooner. Springs is projected back in July. Ross, I think, is more later in the year. And I don't think Drew is coming back as a starter. He's had too many arm surgeries. I think he's going to the bullpen. I think Shane Boz, if he ever comes back, I think he's going to go to the bullpen as well.
Okay. Well, here's what I'll tell you. I think, by the way, just to give you some perspective, the lowest ticket price, on ESPN, it says tickets as low as for tomorrow, $14, for Sunday, $16, for Saturday, $70 for the worst.
So hopefully all those people who are paying top dollar, the Rays will just shit on them and shit on John Sterling Day and get a big W. They're going to win Saturday.
Who would you rather have in there to do that than Zach Eflin? So here's what I was going to say. Nestor, one of the narratives I'm going to ride this season is Nestor Cortez pitching well at home. I think this is an under-over series. And if it's an under, the Rays win those types of games.
Rays are in a tough stretch, man. We're playing 13 days in a row. Not to get too far ahead of ourselves, but after this, we play the Tigers for feisty as hell. So, I mean, we just got to survive this stretch, man, because we're hoping Josh Lowe will be back by the end of the month. And then Taj Bradley, I heard, is going to be back in the beginning of May. So need the help. We need all the help that we could get. I'm curious to know, Javon, who I know is a big Rays fan, would he like to see Junior Caminero now, or would he rather them wait a bit more and get him more playing time in AAA?
Tigers Rays total is going to be set at 4.5. Yeah, the Tigers don't look to be. I don't know. Everybody was really trendy on the Tigers this season as an over team. I'm not sure how they're doing so far. Drew, when do you think Caminero is going to be called up? Let Caminero come up now, please.
I think if they call them up going to the Yankees series, it'd be a huge shot in the arm. Honestly, I think it would. I would do it tomorrow. I would.
Can they?
Well, I mean, you just have to send somebody down.
And then what? You put him on a plane, you get his ass up there, give him a uniform.
I mean, he's in North Carolina. It's not like he's flying in from China, dude.
That's true.
Yeah, he's in North Carolina. It's where the AAA team is. I mean, why can't he go to New York? It's what, a 2-hour flight?
I mean, I guess you're right. I would love Caminero to come up for NYC. All right, I guess you're right. Could you imagine ticket prices Saturday? John Sterling, Judge bobblehead, and then Caminero debut.
That'd be even
and
Greg
Palacios first game.
Yes. Oh, by the way, did Greg go to any of the Pirates games? I know he loves talking shit about the Rays attendance. He's supposedly a Pirates fan. Did he go to any of the Mets Pirates games?
Dude, Greg is the worst fucking Pirate fan. He's not even a Pirate fan. This guy has been on the verge of deciding on whether he's going to be a Yankees fan or not for the 11 years he's lived in New York. He doesn't know what he's doing. So no, don't even acknowledge Greg's bullshit chirping of the Rays stadium. Don't even acknowledge it. But I'm glad you asked though. All right, Drew, let's shut it down. We've been yapping long enough about the Rays. Let's go 500.
We'll plan to wrap up the Yankee series Sunday afternoon, shortly after that game on Sunday, if possible.
Yep, sounds good. Everybody, thanks for hanging out. Javon, it was great to see you in here. Another Rays supporter. I think maybe Super Gremlin. Are you a Rays fan too? W Super Gremlin. Appreciate it. Raise up, baby. I'd spend $300 seeing Caminero at NY. I love that. Caminero was cited with not funny. I'm not gonna read all that. All right, Drew. Thanks, man. Good night, guys. Thanks for hanging out.